Tip number 1, aim for the meta team for boss raids. Yeah, meta this, meta that, but the question is, have you ever met a person outside of the internet before, you stinky? That was mean. I'm sorry. Anyways, if you're new to Anime Dimensions, you may not know about the fact that this game has a meta for its various game modes, and taking advantage of them under some ideal stats will allow you to do some insane damage in not only every raid you do, but also every time challenge attempt you do, and you might also even get like an insane speedrunning time in every dimension you do. I'm not gonna go in depth on what the fine details are, just the characters, and specifically for the boss raid if I haven't made that clear already. The best boss raid team one can have right now is Christmas Saber for their main character, and both Awakened Madoka and Awakened Sid for your assists. This will be the absolute best team for you if you have all these characters, good stats, and the whole works. But there's one tiny problem with this team. It is made up entirely of limited characters. Like, true limited characters. So if you want a team of permanently available characters that will still allow you to do a lot of damage, then get and use Sung Jin Woo, Kirito, and Saber. Make sure to awaken all 3 of these characters to get the most out of them. One more slight detail. Save your mythical pets for the Garo pet. Once you get 5 of any mythical pet, you can fuse them together and get an overpowered divine tier pet. He is super important for making Christmas Saber work well. The Kurumi pet also works, but Garo is just much better. In this video, I'll be giving you a few tips on how to increase your damage in the raid. So here's a quick shout out to my members. Also join the Discord if you haven't already, link in the description. Let's move onwards to the second tip. Prioritize damage over dodging, but this is with a huge asterisk. This rule isn't an absolute anymore, but let's lay the foundation of what this rule is before talking about why there is now a big exception. So in my previous raid damage tips video, which that video will be linked later, I said to damage more and dodge less. Dodging is good for surviving the boss's attacks and to allow your character to restore HP so you don't die, lose time, miss out on more rewards, and realize that you could have had more rewards, possibly even drop the character if you didn't die, which that really sucks, especially when trying to drop characters. But at the same time, it's not that deep. If dodging will prevent you from getting more damage in the raid, then tank a few hits and do more damage. Just make sure to not get caught up in the very few attacks that melts the majority of your HP. So basically as a whole, damage more and dodge less. With the exception being if you have at least the 150,000 point stat boost. This is the one exception to the rule. For newer players, and by the way, this is a bonus tip, you're welcome. Stat boost points give you a certain amount of buffs for collecting characters, pets, and costumes. These bonuses are crucial for becoming better at the game, which is the reason why in every single character overview video I said to get them regardless if they're good or not because of these. You could be missing out on a lot of extra damage if you don't get these, but collect the characters. Okay, back on topic. The 150,000 and the 200,000 damage boosts both give you a 12% extra damage boost from every source of damage when you're at full HP, which means if you take any damage, you miss out on that small boost. So if you have them, dodge, dodge, dodge. If you're running the aforementioned meta team, Christmas Saber is really good at dodging attacks while doing an insane amount of damage. Sidestepping and playing with the shift lock feature will allow you to dodge the attacks from the boss easily. And since there's outlines on the boss's attacks, you can now see them through anything. To summarize, if you're under 150k stat points, then don't worry about dodging too much since the only problem here is dying. Dodge enough to keep yourself alive. If you're over 150,000, then dodge like an absolute mad lad. Like, get it in your mind. If you don't dodge and you miss out on damage, your waifu dies. Bro, I don't even know why I made that joke. Use the best traits. Traits. Honestly, the newest trait system feels very pay to win, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but that's for another day. For the newer players, traits are traits. There's really no other way to describe them. Traits usually only affect your main character when you use them as a main character, but some of them affect your main character when you use them as assists. But some of them also affect your main character when you use them as assists. One trait stands above all the other traits, and it's what you should be aiming to get on all of your characters, regardless of if they are a main character or an assist. That trait is the divine rarity trait, Celestial. Another one that you can get on your assists is the mythical rarity partner traits, which gives a damage boost to all players in the party. It's not as good as the Celestial trait, but it is easier to get, so there's another option for you. For your main, Legendary Vicious and Mythical Slayer are good substitutes. To summarize, use the Mythical Slayer or Legendary Vicious traits on your main character, and the Mythical Partner trait on your assists while going for the Divine Celestial trait on your entire team. Admittedly, it will take a while, but you got this. Just try your best. Only start the raid with a full lobby. This one is pretty straightforward, but it's worth talking about again, mainly due to the amount of low levels that start the raid games when you're only at 2 players in the raid, which wastes your time and causes you to leave the raid and rejoin the lobby, only for it to happen like twice more, which causes you to miss the raid for that hour. Sorry, I've seen some crap. Anyways, players gain a damage boost for having a full lobby inside of the raid. And it's not a small boost either. When the raid lobby fills up completely, the entire team gets a 70% damage boost that lasts throughout the duration of the raid. This also stays if any players leave after the raid starts. So to summarize, please frickin' wait until you see the number 8 in that sidebar, then press that funky little button that says start. Only when you see the number 8 in that sidebar. Sorry, I've been holding that in for a while. Also, has this video helped you out? If so, then make sure to subscribe for more helpful content like this. Currently, I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before the year 2024 ends, so all support is appreciated. Also, make sure to use character buffs. Added in the Shanks raid update, character buffs are buffs that any player can take advantage of when they use the character in the raid, whether that be as a main character or as an assist character. Character buffs usually give players a 50% damage buff for using them, but sometimes you can get a 100% damage buff by using the 2 characters that are shown on the raid's menu. So for instance, use Kirito in the Kirito raid, Levi in the Beast Titan raid. You get what I mean. By the ways, if you haven't seen my previous raid video, then make sure to go watch it here. It is old, but it still has a lot of really good tips for you to do more damage in the raid. So go watch it. Dismissed?